In France, career judges are considered civil servants exercising one of the sovereign powers of the state. So French citizens are eligible for judgeship, but not citizens of the other EU countries. France's independent court system enjoys special statutory protection from the executive branch. Procedures for the appointment, promotion, and removal of judges vary depending on whether it is for the ordinary or administrative stream. Judicial appointments in the judicial stream must be approved by a special panel. The High Council of the Judiciary. Once appointed, career judges serve for life and cannot be removed without specific disciplinary proceedings conducted before the council with due process. The Ministry of Justice handles the administration of courts and the judiciary, including paying salaries or constructing new courthouses. The ministry also funds and administers the prison system. Lastly, it receives and processes applications for presidential pardons and proposes legislation dealing with matters of civil or criminal justice. The Minister of Justice is also the head of public prosecution, though this is controversial since it is seen to represent a conflict of interest in cases such as political corruption against politicians. At the basic level, the courts can be seen as organized into. The structure of the French judiciary is divided into 3 tiers. There are exceptions to this scheme. As noted below, there exist significant problems with applying non-French terminology and concepts related to law and justice to the French justice system. For this reason, a glossary has been provided to define many of the key terms used in the rest of the article. While in Germanic Europe the Supreme Courts can and do tend to write more verbose opinions, supported by legal reasoning, the typical Francophone Court of Cassation decision is short, concise and devoid of explanation or justification. There is no stare decisis, or principle of precedent, binding lower courts to respect superior courts' rulings on questions of law, but a line of similar case decisions, while not precedent per se, forms the jurisprudence constante. Public offenses are categorized as, for petty misdemeanors like most traffic violations, suspected offenders may either plea nolo contender and pay a set fine amount or contest the charge in court. The court may then find the defendant innocent or guilty, but if found guilty, they are liable to be sentenced a higher fine. At the basic level, the courts can be seen as organized into. At the bottom of the court hierarchy are the courts of minor jurisdiction. The police court hears contraventions, minor criminal offenses such as traffic violations, minor assaults, and breaches of the peace. The civil court hears minor civil cases. The next tier are the courts of major jurisdiction. When the court hears delicts, less serious felonies and misdemeanors, it is called a criminal court. The courts are normally composed of 3 judges, but some offenses such as traffic offenses, soft drugs, and misuse of credit cards and checking accounts may be heard by 1 judge. The labor court. The court is said to be paritaire because it is composed of equal numbers of representatives from employer unions, e.g., MEDEF and CGPME, and employer unions. The Agricultural Land Tribunal hears matters involving trade and business disputes and the panel is elected from the local business community. The Court of Assize sits in each of the departments of France with original and appellate jurisdiction over crimes or serious felonies. As a court of first instance, it is normally composed of 3 judges and 9 jurors. But in some cases involving terrorism and the illegal drug trade, the court may sit as 3 judges alone. When it sits as a court of appeal, it is composed of 3 judges. The Court of Appeal handles appeals from most lower courts. It is composed of 3 judges. The court is divided into a number of divisions or courts: social security, business, general civil, and criminal. Formally, it required the intervention of a solicitor or case attorney to prepare and manage the case and to act as an intermediary between the barrister and the appellant or appellee. The functions of the AVU were abolished in 2012. Appeals may take anywhere from 18 to 24 months, if not longer. The Court of Cassation is the highest level of appeal in France. These courts sit in 6 chambers with 15 judges in each. However, only 7 judges need to be present to hear a case. There are more than 120 judges serving in the court. The Court of Cassation hears appeals from the assize courts and the courts of appeal. Criminal cases are heard in only one of the court's 5 chambers and the court has no legal authority to deny a criminal appeal. The court is referred to as the guardian of the law. It only reviews questions of law, not questions of fact. The court's essential purpose is to ensure that the interpretation of the law is uniform throughout.